Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Shreemad Bhagawad Geeta, Chapter 4, the Yoga of Knowledge as well as the discipline of action and knowledge. Shri Bhagavan said, Hey Parth, I reveal this immortal yoga to Vivaswan, the son. Vivaswan conveyed it to his son Manu, and Manu imparted it to his son Ikshvaku. Thus, transmitted in succession from father to son, Hey Parantap, this yoga remained known to the Rajarsis, the royal sages. Through long lapse of time, this yoga got lost to the world. The same ancient yoga, which is the supreme secret, has this day been imparted to you by me, because you are my devotee and friend. Arjun said, Hey Keshav, you are recent origin, while the birth of Vivaswan dates back to remote antiquity. How then am I to believe that you imparted this yoga at the beginning of the creation? Bhagavan said, Hey Parantap, you and I have passed through many births. I remember them all, you do not remember at all. Though birthless and immortal and the Lord of all beings, I manifest myself through my own Yogmaya, the divine potency, keeping my nature, Prakriti, under control. Hey Arjun, whenever righteousness is on the decline and unrighteousness is in the ascendant, then I body myself forth for the protection of the virtues, for extirpation of evildoers, and for establishing dharma, means righteousness, on the firm footing. I manifest myself from age to age. Hey Arjun, my birth and activities are divine. He who knows this in reality is not reborn on leaving his body, but comes to me, completely rid of attachment, fear and anger, wholly absorbed in me, depending on me, and purified by the penance of wisdom. Many have become one with me even in the past. Hey Arjun, howsoever men seek me, even so do I respond to them. For all men follow my path in every way. In this world of human beings, man seeking the fruit of their activities worship the gods, for success born of actions follows quickly. The four orders of society vis-a-vis the Brahmans, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Shudra were created by me, classifying them according to the gunas predominance in each and apportioning corresponding duties to them. Though the originator of this creation, I am, Hey Arjun, know me, the immortal Lord, to be a non-doer. Since I have no craving for the fruit of action, actions do not tempt me. Even he who thus knows me in reality is not bound by actions. Having known thus, actions was performed even by the ancient seekers for liberation. Therefore, do you also perform actions as have been performed by the ancient from antiquity? What is action and what is inaction? Even men of intelligence are puzzled over this question. Therefore, I shall expound to you the truth about action, knowing which you will be freed from its evil effects, as for example, the shackles of karma. The truth about action must be known, and the truth of inaction also must be known. Even so, the truth about prohibited action must be known, for mysterious are the way of action. He who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is wise among men. He is yogi who has performed all actions. Even the wise call him a sage, whose undertakings are all free from the desire and sankalp, the thought of word, and whose actions are burnt by the fire of wisdom. He who, having totally given up attachment to the actions and their fruit, no longer depends on anything in the world and is ever content, does nothing at all, though fully engaged in action. having subdues his mind and body, and having given up all objects of enjoyment, free from craving, he who performs sheer bodily action does not incur sin. The Karma Yogi, who is contented with whatever is got unsought, is free from jealousy and has transcended all pairs of opposites like joy and grief, and is balanced in success and failure, is not bound by his action. All his actions get dissolved entirely, who is free from attachment and has no identification with the body, and free from the feeling of mind, whose mind is established in the knowledge of self, and who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. In the practice of seeing Brahma everywhere as a form of sacrifice, Brahma is the ideal with which oblation of is poured into the fire, etc. Brahma again is the oblation, Brahma is the fire, Brahma itself is the sacrifice, Brahma itself is a sacrifier, and so Brahma itself constitutes the act of pouring the oblation into the fire. And finally, Brahma is the goal to be reached by him who is absorbed in Brahma as the act of such sacrifice. Other yogis duly offer sacrifice only in the form of worship to gods, while others perform sacrifice by offering the self by the self itself in the fire of Brahma. Others offer a sacrifice their senses of hearing, etc., into the fires of self-discipline. Other yogis again offer sound and other objects of perception into the fires of senses. Others sacrifice all the functions of their senses and functions of the vital airs, prana, into the fire of yoga in the shape of self-control, indeed kindled by wisdom. Some perform sacrifice with material possessions. Some offer sacrifice in the shape of austerities. Others sacrifice through the practice of yoga, while some striving souls observing austere vows perform sacrifice in the shape of wisdom through the study of sacred text. Other yogis offer the act of exhalation into that of inhalation. Even so, others the act of inhalation into that of exhalation. There are still others given to the practice of pranayama, means breath control, who having regulated their diet and controlled the possession, the process of exhalation and inhalation both, pour their vital airs into the vital airs themselves. All these have their sin consumed away by the sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrifice of the sacrificial worship. Hey Arjun, yogis who enjoyed the nectar that has been left over after the performance of the sacrifice attains the eternal Brahma. To the man who does not offer sacrifice, even this world is not happy. How then can the other world be happy? Many such forms of sacrifice have been set forth in detail in the Vedas. Knows them all as involving the action of mind, senses and body. Thus, knowing the truth about them, you shall be freed from the bondage of action through their performances. Hey Arjun, Sacrifice through knowledge is superior to sacrifice performed with material things. For all action without expectations, for all actions without expectations and exceptions, culminates in knowledge. Hey, son of Kunti, understand the true nature of the knowledge by approaching seer of truth. If you prostrate at their feet, render them service, and question them with an open and guileless heart, those wise seer of truth will instruct you in that knowledge. So don't feel guilty and remove this guilt from your heart. Hey Arjun, when you have achieved enlightenment, ignorance will dilute you no more. In the light of that knowledge, you will see the entire creation first within your own self and then in me. That is oversoul. Even if you were the most sinful of all sinners, this knowledge alone would carry you like a raft across all your sin. For as the blazing fire reduces the fuel to ashes, hey Arjun, even so the fire of knowledge turns all actions to ashes. In this world there is no purifier as great as knowledge, and he who has attained purity of heart through prolonged practice of knowledge, of Karma Yoga, automatically sees the light of truth in the self in course of time. He who has mastered his senses is exclusively devoted to his practice and is full of faith, attains knowledge, having had the revelation of truth, he immediately attains supreme peace in form of God realization. He who lacks discrimination is devoid of faith and is at the same time possessed by doubt, is lost to the spiritual path. For the doubting soul, there is neither this world nor the world beyond this, nor even happiness. Hey Dhananjay, hey Arjun, actions do not bind him who has dedicated all his actions to God according to the spirit of Karma Yoga, whose doubts have been dispelled by wisdom and who is self-possessed. Therefore, hey Arjun, hey Bharat, slashing to peace with the sword of knowledge, this doubt in your heart born of ignorance established yourself in Karma Yoga in the shape of even-mindedness and stand up for the fight. Here Arjun, stand up and fight. Thus, in the Upanishad, sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of Yoga, the dialogues between Bhagwan Sri Krishna and Arjun, ends the fourth chapter entitled The Yoga of Knowledge as well as the disciplines of action and knowledge. Jai Ho!